What is good, Tesla family? It's Ray J back with another video. And in this, I wanted to break down what's going on with Tesla, SPY, Nvidia, the QQQ, and a couple of other tickers, and break down what's going on with the economic calendar thus far, which you should be watching for as time progresses, and also what the news is saying about Tesla moving forward. But before I break anything down, all this information, before I get into any more details, let me just mention a couple of things. Firstly, I am not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out the Moomoo link, which is down below and in the description. If you sign up for Moomoo, the link down below, and deposit $100 into the account, you are guaranteed up to 5 free stocks. If you deposit $1,000, you're guaranteed up to 15 free stocks. This offer ends in just 1 week, so check it out before they run out. Anyways, now let's break down what's happening with Tesla. Looking at Tesla, this thing attempted to rebound this morning, gapping up, but now it's starting to sink back down as we got some tight resistance to be watching for. And the question is, how will Tesla move going forward? Are we about to see some big moves? And the answer is yes. I think there's going to be a big move coming after the market closes to the whole market, including Tesla. And for now, we're going to be watching some key levels, which I will be discussing. So, what's happening to the market right now? Stocks are attempting to bounce back a bit after a very rough trading session on Wednesday after Jerome Powell gave his speech. Now, that's very important because we had a very not so good day after Jerome Powell said things that caused the market to sink. He basically mentioned that the Fed will likely not be cutting in March. They don't have enough confidence to do so quite yet, and they're likely not going to have enough confidence by then to do so. So that's a very big development, a big change relative to what the market was thinking from before. And this is what caused the market to sell off the way it did. Now, with the Fed still monitoring the situation, waiting for more data to come out, the market ended up taking a big hit after Powell's speech, and we were expecting this market to rebound just a bit. But the question is, how on earth are we going to react to some key resistance levels I'll talk about? Don't forget, we have big tech earnings for today. I'll talk about that in just a minute. And then besides that, the US has basically called the Strategic Sports Group, which has announced that it's going to be investing up to $3 billion in the PGA Tour with an initial investment of $1.5 billion. That's a big change right over here so far. Besides that, that's pretty much it, at least as far as the news goes for the overall market. Now, when it comes to other pieces of data, I just want to mention that we had initial jobless claims that just came out at 224,000. The market's pumping as this has come out, a little bit above expectations. And besides that, everything else is just aligned with expectations. At 9:45 a.m., we have the S&P Global PMI report, which is very minor data. But at 10 a.m., we have the manufacturing PMI, the ISM manufacturing employment, construction spending, manufacturing new orders, and manufacturing prices all coming out. I would say that the ISM manufacturing PMI and ISM manufacturing new orders are two important pieces of data about the future of the economy, how things are looking in terms of new orders for us moving forward, and for the future strength of the economy for the PMI report, which is a very important gauge. This means that basically watch for volatility 30 minutes after the market opens. Okay, 30 minutes after open at 10 a.m., watch and see what happens. Does the market get a rug pull? Does the market end up shifting directions? We'll just be watching this very carefully. Does this pump the markets? This is going to be very important, so make sure you watch this data very closely. Now, after all this data comes out at 10 a.m., it's going to be very quiet, and then things become more intense starting after the market closes because we have Apple, Amazon, and Meta all announcing their earnings. This is going to be very important. So we'll have to see if they cause the market to get one more rally or if they cause the market to get rug pulled. We have to be very careful, guys. Do not become too comfortable. Don't become too complacent. And I'm going to give you guys a warning about this because you never know what's going to happen. You want to be very careful. In the morning, we had Royal Caribbean Group announce their earnings, and the stock has actually jumped as strong starts have come out due to the fact that it had upbeat outlooks and things are actually better than expected in terms of profit. Revenue is kind of light, EPS was a beat, and their outlook was pretty good, so the stock is jumping. As far as Elon Musk goes, Elon Musk's court ruling has led to a response from him. He basically mentioned that he wasn't happy and that he said, and I quote, "You should never incorporate your company in the state of Delaware." That's pretty much it for now, because remember what happened with Delaware? They basically rejected Elon Musk's compensation plan of $56 billion, and Musk had a different view of it, if anything. Now, on top of this, there's also more news coming out that as a result, Musk is seeking shareholder votes to move the incorporation to Texas instead. That's very important amidst everything that just happened. And they want to transfer the state incorporation to Texas from Delaware after this big move was made. So this is a big change by Elon Musk. This could actually benefit Tesla in different ways, and this is what Tesla is basically trying to do. As I mentioned yesterday in the evening, this news is now making the headlines again. Tesla has been sued by 25 Californian counties over hazardous waste handling. Tesla's being accused of mishandling hazardous waste, and we're seeing Tesla getting sued. So this is very important. We'll see what Tesla does about this. And I want everyone to just be very careful when pieces of news like that come out. But now let's talk about Tesla stock, what's going on with the share price. Tesla has some interesting resistance. We have resistance very close to this 190 area. We actually have a lot of EMAs on the 15 minutes time frame. And then if we do break above the 190s, we have 191.3, the pre-market high, not to mention 193 above that, which is a very tight resistance at our 200 EMA on the 30 minutes time frame. So those are going to be your levels to be watching for basically. So watch 190's resistance, 191, then this 193 to 194 area. For support, make sure you watch I would say to watch 187.5 around that range. If we lose that, there's 186.5, 184, and then 182.5. Very tight levels on Tesla. So I think that Tesla could try to rebound a little bit, attempt to push up. We're going to see some sideways price action on this 190 area. We'll see if we can break that or not. If we fail to break it, we might just range trade for the rest of the day. And I think there's a very good chance we might just continue to do so. We could pump a little bit at first, come back down, just continue to range trade. And there's a very good chance it's going to continue to do so. We'll be watching the levels very carefully. I think there's a very good chance Tesla will pump, rebound a little bit at first to make our way back down. So make sure you watch your levels carefully and see how this ends up moving. I think that Tesla could fight this resistance. We have some very tight resistance up here. We might attempt to fight it at first, and I just think we're going to range trade for now. And then when it comes to making a much larger move, I think that this set of earnings is going to cause a big move for Tesla in the whole market. So we'll be watching to see if this dumps Tesla in the after hours or causes us to pump. So that's when the big move is going to be coming. Otherwise, I think Tesla's just going to range trade, rebound a little bit to make its way back down towards 188. Just continue to trade sideways, at least for now. As for SPY, I think that SPY is attempting to rebound, but we have to watch resistance because one issue with SPY is the fact that on the 5 minutes time frame, SPY has the 200 EMA as resistance, and then above that we have this 486.5 to 487 range as resistance. I think that SPY, in my opinion, it's not looking that great. So, we had this very, very bearish looking bar from yesterday. It's trying to rebound, but we have this tight resistance at the 200 EMA and also very close to the 487 range. So, if we do break above the 200 EMA, we could be testing 487 and then rejecting, or it could just fail to break the 200 EMA, which is like right here, and then reject again. So, we're going to be watching this carefully. Do we break 485.7 to 486? Do we get up to 487 and reject, or do we reject from here? So we're going to be watching that very carefully. If we reject right now, we're going to be watching SPY retrace back down to 484 or sort of even lower levels. We were expecting this to rebound a bit, so we're going to be watching to see if we can continue to push higher and look for a rejection if we fail to break the 200 EMA, very close to 486. So we could pop one more time and then reject and make our way back down. So be very careful with that. Then we might just trade sideways as we anticipate Apple's earnings. For the QQQ, it's just shuffling around 420. If we break 420, watch 421 and then 422.5. If we reject off 420, watch 418, 416.5. I think that the QQQ is kind of failing to break 420, so it might trade sideways up here and start to slow down as we have this gap to fill below. We have a gap all the way down here at 418, so it might reject here and make its way back down. So be very careful with the QQQ. But don't forget that one more thing. Even if we do get this rejection come down to fill this gap, we could just shuffle a bit. And the real move is going to come once we have earnings from Apple, Amazon, and Meta. So I'll be waiting for those earnings first. Nvda, this thing is rejected so far. We could be forming kind of like a nice accumulation right here, but it might come down temporarily before it tries to rebound later. Now, Nvidia might come down to fill this gap, so look for a move to the downside coming soon, back down to the 616 area, then sideways price action to 610s. I think it might retrace a little bit, then trade sideways as time goes on before it tries to push up higher. So watch that very carefully, at least for Nvidia for the time being. Look for a potential pullback. And then finally, last but not least, for Apple stock, I see something similar going on. Apple's just trading around 185. Going to be looking for another retracement. We might see Apple basically come back down to 184.25, come back up and just trade sideways as time goes on. And then I think that earnings is going to cause a much bigger move. So I don't really expect much from Apple. It might pull back a little bit more, trade sideways within this range. You guys can see this range right here. And then we're going to be looking for a much bigger move once its earnings ends up coming out. So with that being said, thank you for listening. Get ready for the big tech earnings after market close. That's going to have a big effect on Tesla. Watch the ranges I called out in our very important supply and demand zones. And with that being said, I'll see you guys on the next one very, very soon. Thank you for listening. Have a great day. Tesla in the market to the moon because the long term is still very bright. And peace out.